don't know if anyone can hear this. It's been 71 Earth years since my last transmission. According to my computer, anyway. The last thing I remember is jumping into the nearby system and being chased. My bounty was prepared, ready for me in a way that I'd never seen any bounty prepared before. I expected just a few ships, but he had a fleet. I made a call, jumped systems, hide ourselves in nebulas, but he couldn't. I couldn't get away. I then made the next best choice for my survival. Eject in an escape pod and send myself into cryo-sleep. I figured the SOS signal would attract somebody that I'd get picked up within a few weeks or months, but I was never found. Only recently have I been informed of how much time has passed. I've lost everything. But I have skills. And hell, I'm sure bounty hunting hasn't changed all that much.
On the edges of unknown space, with a small crew and supplies to last a few days at best, Roughshot finds himself in a bit of trouble. No longer the famed bounty hunter that he was many decades ago, only having just roused from cryo-sleep, he finds himself in an unfamiliar universe, one where he has to start from scratch again, and this time, ideally, not have to send himself into a panicked state of stasis. Welcome to Starsector, everybody, a game I've been very eager to bring you for quite some time. If you don't know what Starsector is, I can simply pitch it as Mountain Blade in space, and that holds true pretty heavily. I would argue that the game is much more heavily simulated than Mountain Blade and much more complex, but it is still an apt comparison. We start with nothing. We are a nobody, and the galaxy is simulated and lives whether we do anything or not. Wars will break out, trade will happen, terrorists, pirates will strike those who they deem worth striking, and depths of horrors in the deep hyperspace linger, waiting for us. We could simply become a bounty hunter who gets rich off contracts, or we could become a trade unit. Maybe we become pirates ourselves, or maybe we find a habitable planet that we colonize and start running a business out of. The options feel and seem limitless, and each story is unique. Whatever story Roughshot has in store for us, we'll have to discover in time. But first, we're going to go ahead and go through the tutorial. Now, I've done the tutorial a couple of times, but to give you a base idea as to how the game plays, I think it's important that we do that. I'm not going to go over every minor detail because there's a lot to go over, and we'll go over them as we need to. For now, we simply need to get Roughshot out of where he is and into a safe place. Luckily, the tutorial will guide us there and show you how the game plays along the way. So, let's get the story going, shall we? Your fleet is in the middle of nowhere and critically low on supplies. If you don't acquire more supplies, your fleet will suffer and will die. That's fine. Basically, they're going to give us the ability to scavenge. We can find wrecks from combats and whatnot in the area, but for now, all we need to do is move up to the debris field that's not too far away. Here's our ships, by the way, and this little cluster is our fleet. Our main ship is this one, which is one we're piloting, and then this one right here is our secondary ship that's kind of a cargo. It's there to hold cargo for us. It's not really a combat ship. And this will grow and change as our ships change as well. But for now, here's the fleet. And we're just going to hold left click and move up towards this area. And once we're close enough, we'll be able to, this will light up and we can hit 6 to start scavenging. So our fleet assumes a stable orbit around the debris field. Long-range scans indicate it's likely something of value could be found inside, and that the risk of the operation, an accident happening during the operation, is low. These can change depending, obviously, if it's more dangerous and if there's less or more stuff there. So we're going to go ahead and assess. And basically, this is going to say for us, if you want 100% scavenging effectiveness, you need 80. You need 80 crew and 30 heavy machinery because, you got to think our crew is going out there. They're taking machinery, ripping apart, scavenging things and bringing it back to our ship. They're all going out there and doing their job. But since we have about a little more than half of what we not want and 2/3 of what we need here, it's only going to be about 22% effective. So we're not going to, all these bonuses would be better if we had a full crew, but we don't. We're stuck with what we have, and that's fine. So we're just going to go ahead and say begin the salvage operations, and what we're going to come across, let's take a look, is 28 supplies. Supplies get devoured by our crew. The more crew we have, the more supplies we need as time goes on and days pass. Some fuel for our ships, some heavy machinery, which is good for manipulating matter on an industrial scale. It's basically we need to do this stuff for scavenging and the like, and then some metals that we can maybe sell off since we don't need them right now. Easy enough. A salvage operation well done. Now we can move up and keep salvaging, which we may, but first we have a visitor. Whoever, whatever was out here, whatever fight happens, we're not alone. As we're scavenging, our sensors ping. So we're going to go ahead and push forward, because this is just explaining to how it works. And I'm going to go ahead and pause it as soon as, boom, we see our contact. So the way the game works is each sensor is better or worse. Some can sense, some sensors sense way far out, some are way closer, which are typically the worst ones. And even then, depending on how good it is, depends on what you'll pick up. So right here at maximum range, we just have an unidentified contact heading our way. And we can kind of see some range, I believe, of theirs. And as soon as this gets within close enough, it'll then ping as a pirate. So let's go ahead and unpause. It's burning towards us very, very quickly. And boom, we still don't know, like this is how bad our sensor is. We still don't know that they're pirates yet. All we know is they're coming to intercept us and that their danger is pretty low. Boom, it took to about here until we realized, oh, it's a pirate, it's a rogue miner, and they just want to be mad at us. So here they come. They don't, it does not appear to be certain of your identity. Any hostilities will have a reduced impact on your reputation. Basically, they're attacking us for no good reason, so we're not gonna, it's not like we're attacking a well-known organization and taking a massive reputation hit for it. So let's open a comlink. Let's see if they're willing to talk. Did the hegemony send you to do this errand for him? Collect a bill. Grant Dillon is an ex-miner. He has no interest in talking. Roughshot sighs when he realizes that and simply cuts the comlink. Flipping a few more buttons and hearing the engines dull down and the weapons spin up, he realizes he's going to have to fight. So we're going to have to move into engage. They really have no choice. We're not going to transfer command. We're just going to go ahead and continue. And basically the way combat works is we have this tactical overview and the ship overview. We're going to go ahead and deploy. I think we're just going to go ahead and deploy our one ship. We really don't need to deploy this one, though it would make things easy. Hey, let's just deploy him. It doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and deploy all our ships and hit deploy. And then they're going to pop out here. I'm going to hit tab. We don't need this here right now. This tactical map is much more useful for bigger fights. We're only doing one fight right now, and this is how it works. Whoop. So it's real time, and my ship is going to face basically wherever my mouse faces, which is kind of how I like it. And our little drone ship over there is releasing some fighters, and there is the ship. So we're going to hit R to lock on to it, and it's going to show us what they've got for weapons, their hull, and all kinds of stuff. And honestly, they got a thumper, a light assault gun, and a Vulcan cannon. It's not a big deal. Their hull is here. Their flux is basically energy buildup. If you build up all the way, your ship goes into overload and it can't do anything. So it's energy management. And the type of ship it is, its standard variant, etc., etc. Bottom left is our ship, our flux, our health. Our special ability is called Phase Skimmer. So our ship, the Wolf class, if I hit F, I'll start teleporting into random areas to kind of disengage. And these are the weapons I have set up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control 1 to turn off auto fire of our first one, which is the first weapon we have. And this is the range of it. If I hit 2, you can see the range of our Swarmer missiles, which do high explosive damage. And then our point defense lasers are automatically on auto fire, which we're going to go ahead and leave alone because they're going to do a lot of missile shooting, and they'll automatically shoot at the enemy if we get within range. So we're just going to stick with our pulse laser to bring down their shields if they have any shields, and then we'll switch over to our swarmer missiles as needed. As we unpause, we're going to go ahead and right-click. Our shields are going to go up, and we're just going to move in. It doesn't actually look like they've got any shields up, so we're just going to move up and start firing missiles at them, because it looks like they're not going to be able to do much. Let's go ahead and bring it down, fire missiles. We're missing pretty badly, but we're doing fine. And this fight is going to be nothing. They can't do anything. You can see they're taking a lot of damage, and they're spinning out of control. Their thumpers just came back online. We're just going to keep moving. And then back up. I just don't want to be near the explosion, because when they do break, the explosion can do damage. Let's switch to our number 1 weapons here. And down there goes the hull. Boom. Exploded. And once the combat is done, you get transferred out. So we got 341 credits from the CPU cores that we got to rip out of the destroyed ship, which is nice. We lost 3 reputation with pirates, which was already at minus 65 anyway, so we don't really need to worry about it. And we're just going to go ahead and pick through the wreckage. This was a complete victory, which means we took very minimal, if any, damage at all. We're going to get some supplies, some more fuel, and other heavy machinery, which is nice. Some more metals, and a Vulcan cannon. Common design type, and it's a small point defense ballistic weapon, so it only takes 4 ordnance points to equip. Has 250 range, which is not that much, 25 damage, and does 500 damage a second. It generates a little bit of flux, but not that much. It's fragmentation damage, so it's 100% effective against hull, but not very effective against the shields by 25%. Poor accuracy, but it has an excellent turn rate. So it's really close, really short distance kind of weapon. Who knows if we'll equip it, but all ships in this game, and there are a lot of them, are all 100% customizable. We'll probably use the customization for a bit early on, but we won't get too deep into it until later, and I'm more comfortable because, much like Kenshi, while I understand the basics of the game, I'm going in rather fresh to ensure a more engaging story. So we'll take all of that, and that worked out super nice. Your fleet's supply consumption has just gone up. Recovering combat readiness used to deploy ships into combat costs supplies, as does repairing damage. So basically, when you send out ships, you're immediately hurting its combat readiness stat. And the longer it stays out, the longer that goes down. And then once you're out of combat, in order to bring that combat readiness up, you need to spend supplies to do it, as well as the supplies you're already spending every day to feed your crew that are on your ships. We barely touched our combat readiness, so I'm just going to go ahead and let it. I'm not going to suspend repairs, but you can see we can suspend repairs, and it'll minimize the amount of supplies we use. But I'm just going to go ahead and resume all the repairs. It won't take too much, and it'll keep our ships in top notch. The ISS Annius and the ISS Lavinia, we might rename those at some point using some Patreon names and so on. All right, not bad at all. So, part of this game as well is that our captain, our main character, Roughshot, he will level up the more combat he does and the more missions he does, and he'll have skill points to spend. So we're going to go ahead and spend those skill points. And I'm not going to go over too much here, because there's a lot. Each skill has 3 levels, so you can invest 3 skills into each one. And all of them are super valuable. The 2 most valuable that I want to start with is this one over here, navigation, and this one here. Basically, let's pump in a point here and I'll show you. So we're going to pump in a point, and it means we can put in a point into any one of these. 1 level, basically. In order to put two levels into something, we have to go ahead and put this as 2. So putting 1 level of technology eats a point, and then clicking this once will also eat a point, if that makes sense. But we can basically hit only level 1 on all of these. But this one right here is, the first level is going to give us a minus 30% terrain movement penalty when we start going through rough terrain, so nebulas and so on. The second one means we're going to eat a lot less fuel, which is also huge to save us some money early on, because fuel is going to be important. But the most important one is going to be level 3. Gives us another maximum burn level, which is something we'll cover later. But it also gives us the ability to traverse jump. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but basically traverse jumping is illegal hyperspace travel. In order order to travel through hyperspace, you have to use these jump points in the world that are legally allowed. But traverse jumping, it rips a hole into known space-time and sends us directly into hyperspace no matter where we are. There's a buildup, and it's illegal, and it basically pings us like, hey, we're going to do this. And the law in certain sectors of space, depending on where we are, will try and stop us from doing that. But we want it, and we want it badly. We also want plus 25% peak operating time while we're piloting our ship. So I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and do that as well. We'll grab 1 and 1, but I really want the traverse jumping first and soon. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and reset. I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. I want less fuel consumption. It'll save me some money. We'll go to combat at some point, obviously, but for now. Shortly after the dispatch, you dispatch the pirates, you receive a tight beam communication from the system's main inhabited world, Sierra. The message is brief and asks you to travel there and contact the station commander Price as soon as possible. Let's lay in a course. So basically, it's saying, hey, look at your mission, and then we can go ahead and lay in a course. So I'll go ahead and do that. So we'll hit E, and you can see this is the size of our current system. All these things are planets, star systems with planets, and there's all kinds of other vying powers dealing with each other, creating trade agreements, trade wars, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to get involved in all of that at some point. But for now, we're going to zoom way in, and we want to go here. So this is our first mission, and we're going to hit show on map. They want us to arrive at the planet. And this is the little solar system we're currently in right now. There's only a few planets, but we want to go here. And by clicking on it, we can simply say, hey, this is the planet we want to go into. It's an arid world, a dry and old world with a sluggish magnetic field partially stripped of volatiles by solar wind. There's evidence this was once a world covered by shallow, warm seas, bleached dunes of salt, odd towers and ridges of uniquely crystallized silica, and a few briny aquifers tapped and exploited by human settlers. Size 5 colony under hegemony control, which again is always important. The temperature here is hot. All of this stuff matters. Each planet is going to be different, and each one is going to have different bonuses and negatives tied to it. But it's habitable and hot. So we're just going to go lay in a course, and it's going to tell our ships to go ahead and lay in a course, and they're going to head there on their own. And we can see the direction it's going to go. We can go ahead and hold shift to speed up time. The sustained burn ability is useful for long distance travel. Basically, activating it will briefly stop the fleet, reduce its acceleration to a minimum, but the maximum burn level will be much higher. So we're going to go ahead and hit sustained burn by clicking on this. Increase the maximum burn level by 100. So we're going to bring it down. Our engines are going to kick on and we're going to go. And you can see our speed up there. And we can actually hold shift to speed up time to make sure we travel even faster. The world is operating in real time. The galaxy does not care. In the top left, you can see time ticking away. Your fleet is getting closer to Insira, which is controlled by the Hegemony, a major militaristic faction in the sector. While in Hegemony space, a fleet is required by law to identify itself by keeping its transponder turned on. This is a view shared by most, though not all, major factions. Turning on the transponder makes your fleet highly visible, and everyone seeing it will know who you are, unlike that pirate fleet you fought earlier, which you had to be very close to positively identify. So again, it's introducing the next big kind of mechanic and roleplay element in this game that will heavily determine how we play. A simple transponder, which legally will say, hey, we're here, and let everybody know we're around. But if we want to go dark, if we want to do some black market dealings and fly under the radar, we can actually turn our transponder off and eventually make our ships fly dark, which minimizes systems being used to minimize our energy signature that we're emitting to hide us from others unless we're close enough for them to get us on short-range sensors. So we're going to have to turn on our transponder. So turning it on and off has major consequences. It requires a double tap to turn on or off. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on. Transponder is here, so we're going to go ahead and hit it and hit it again. And there it is. Transponder is now on, and we're going to go ahead and be broadcasting our signal to everybody. And here's the planet. Boom. So we're here to meet Price. Whoever she is, he is, found us way out in the middle of space. Basically sent us a signal, say, hey, a planet's over here, and we're able to find it. So let's go ahead and open the comms directory. Iodel Price is who's here. So we open the comm directory and we immediately reach out to Iodel Price. Ah, you've come. Excellent. As you're well aware recently, well, I suppose we can skip that part. How about we could use a rough shot kind of chuckles. And I could use a refresher on recent events. We've been running experiments on the dormant gate in the system, trying to connect it back to the domain's gate network. Promising experiments, or so we thought, till an energy pulse we expected would get a response from the gate, destabilizing the jump points leading into its system, cutting us off from the rest of the sector. It's rather like how the sector is cut off from the domain. Writ small, the stars have a sense of irony, do they not? So basically, their access to the rest of the world, the rest of the galaxy, the rest of the system, or what have you, is cut off. Their jump gate is dead, and they want to fix that, which will allow us to get the hell out of here as well, so we have a vested interest. The miners of Darren Kuyu Station? Yeah, I can never understand how to pronounce that stuff. Which is also located in the system and was operating near a subsistence level. Were hit the hardest. They turned to piracy, intercepting one of the last food shipments to come in out of desperation, no doubt. But they were deaths, and they put themselves well outside the law. Their leaders know that if the jump points are stabilized and the system is once again part of the sector, they can look forward to a life sentence at a penal colony at an absolute best. That's a bummer. So the miners are, because everybody lost their connection, everybody's desperate for food and out of short on supplies. And so the miners just decided to become pirates. That's how we were attacked. All right, well, how do I fit in? The miners turned pirate are guarding the jump points, preventing us from gathering recent readings and coming up with a way to stabilize them. We do have a security detachment that could handle their forces, but they're tied up defending Ansira. The pirates are too much for you to take on, but fortunately you don't have to. We've got an agent on Darren Kuyu Station who was able to gain access to recent sensor readings from the ships guarding the jump points, but they have not been able to get to a long-range comm array to send the data to us. That's where you come in. Head to Darren Kuyu and retrieve the data from our agent, then return here. Alright, well, what's in it for me? Mercenary. Some credits, naturally, with more along the way, and if all goes to plan, we'll be able to reconnect with the rest of the sector such as it is. So what's the plan? First off, make sure to turn off your transponder once you undock. I've instructed the security detachment not to give you any trouble about that. If you're lucky, the pirates may even think you're one of their own and let you approach Darren Kuyu without any trouble. Still, it makes sense to go dark as you get closer, to make sure they can't get a too good a reading on you. And if they do notice me, then you're in trouble. Activate emergency burn to get out of there, lose them, and then come back around and try again. Don't e-burn unless you really need to, though. It's hard on the ships and will cost you more supplies to recover from. Eats up a good chunk of fuel, too. Alright, very well. Excellent, thank you for your willing to help. Come back when you have the data. Good luck! And he cuts the comm. We're not going to worry about any of these things right now. We're going to try and fly dark and get to where we need to go. So we're going to turn off our transponder. We won't get in trouble for it. And if we hit tab, we need to get here. So we're going to go ahead and lay in a course. We can just right click on it. And we'll start out. So when we get close, we're going to, I guess when we're about around here, we're going to go dark, which we just got. And going dark turns off all non-essential systems, reducing range at which the fleet can be detected by 50% and reducing the maximum burn level by 50. It means we're going to move a lot slower, but a lot quieter. Here, let's speed up a little bit. Okay, we're going to back up, pause, go dark. So I love that sound effect. Now we're going to start moving. And I'm going to go on my own. Are these... it looks like we might be able to salvage here. I know we need to go up, but I don't want to get in trouble here. Yeah, there is some salvage. I'm actually curious. Likely low. Let's begin the salvage operation real quick. This is like something we can easily grab. That worked out really nicely for us. Okay. So we want to go right here. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and click on this. And we were able to sneak in under their radar, or they just think we're one of theirs and they don't care. So we actually were able to sneak into the mining station. Now, in the past, I've actually failed and they've caught me and I've had to fight. But for now, I'm lucky it worked. All right, open the comm directory. We need you. All these people are red, and we have a mercenary officer we could talk to, but Hathor Wu is the agent we're here to talk to. You contact the agent and exchange passphrases to verify each other's identities. The agent then transmits a data file with recent raw sensor readings of the unstable jump points. We quickly grab it. Roughshot doesn't say words. He simply finishes his drink, scoops it up, and slyly pockets it into his jacket pocket, smiling along the way as he turns his back and gets the hell out of there. Consider a military options? Absolutely not. Now we got to get the fridge out of Dodge. So let's go ahead and hit here, right click, and we're just going to swing out. We're going to stay dark for a bit until we pull a lot away. We're 3.7, we're 7 days away. That's crazy. Well, in our current set. So we're going to go ahead and bop that. That more than doubles it. And we'll go ahead and put our transponders on as well so they know we're coming. Well, maybe bounty hunters and mercenaries, but hey, we follow contracts as best we can. All right, there's price. You have the data. Well done. There's a brief wait as you transmit the data file. Now, while the system is running a preliminary analysis of the data, I believe you're due a reward. Sweet. So our influence with our reputation with the hegemony, and particularly with Ayudel Price, has gone up. They're not great, but they're neutral and they don't hate us. A little bit of positive, and we gained 5,000 credits, which is nice. It's all about them making that money. There's a chime in the background, and he looks concerned. Is there a problem? Yes, the system estimates it take about a cycle to analyze the data and come up with a stabilization algorithm. Naturally, by then, the data would be out of date, and any algorithm based on it is meaningless. If we had an AI core on hand, we could analyze the data more quickly. Fortunately, there's a survey probe somewhere in the system, one left over from the initial exploration of the sector by the domain. It should have at least an AI core serving as its brain. Where is it, and why hasn't it been salvaged before? To answer your second question, domain artifacts are usually protected by automated defenses that still function to this day, and this probe is no exception. And the hegemony generally forbids civilian interference with domain artifacts, for the sake of public safety, of course. Desperate times, however. I like this guy. He's willing to operate outside the law to get what needed to get done. As to where it is, my data indicates it's somewhere beyond the orbit of Pontus. Get there, then head out beyond the asteroid belt and use the active sensor burst. You should at the very least get a sensor contact with the probe. Head towards it, perform salvage, and bring back an AI core. Pontus is a gas giant in the outer system. To see its name on the map, you might have to turn off the inhabited option in the menu filter. And we gain sensor bursts, so we're going to be able to start looking for things easily. They're a little iffy on AI because the lore of this world is that this whole sector was collapsed in on out in space because they had a giant war against the AI, and only recently, over the past few years, have they come back to bringing themselves into kind of prosperity again, but AI are illegal. But that's fine. So we're going to have to go to turn off inhabited. We want to go to Pontus, so we want to go to, right? Is that where we want to go? Yep, we want to go orbit of Pontus. We'll just go ahead and right-click, and off we go on our little ship. I love that we've just got this little ship and this little salvage ship to get us started. Let's go ahead and speed up. Notice as you fly closer to the sun, I think the amount of supplies you use goes up. It's like too hot or something. Coming up on the gas giant now. Let's go ahead and start pinging for this thing. We've got something on the other side. Give it another ping. Ooh, over here. Had to break orbit. Ooh, it's over here. We can see it. The mini-map you can see in the bottom right, it's pinging some unknown object. There it is, but we don't know what it is yet until we get close. There it is. Your fleet approaches a domain-era probe left from the initial domain exploration of the sector. Pitted by small impacts, the probe's hull displays iridescence typical of fearsome radiation scarring. Though this probe's manufacture could well date to 1,000 cycles ago, some systems are still nominally active. As your fleet moves in closer, several energy signatures are detected coming online inside the probe's hold. Well, we've got to engage with the automated defenses here, it looks like. A couple of drones. transfer command, we're going to have to go and fight. So we'll take all. We're just going to go ahead and deploy. We're just going to have to find them. Whoops. I want to stay close to my ship here. Alright, let's take a look. We want to lock onto him. I don't see shields, so we'll swap over to our form. Actually, we'll stick with the energy lasers. And we're going to try and... Actually, let's go ahead and bring up our shield. And we will fire missiles at this thing. Just going to keep firing missiles and keeping our shield here. And then we're going to vent our flux so we can't do anything quite yet. Oh. Their own buddy just effed him up. There we go. That was pretty rough damage there. Let's keep locking on. Their engines came offline. They're highly, highly maneuverable. Woo! There it is. Another complete victory for us. We'll pick through the wreckage. Some supplies, gas, heavy machinery, more metals, and light mortars. An antiquated weapon that fires anti-armor rounds at a low rate of fire, muzzle velocity, and range. Its low flux buildup is its lone saving grace. Well, we'll take both of them for what it's worth. And you can see we're starting to come up on our carrying capacity here, our cargo capacity. That's going to be important. As your fleet finishes mopping up the automated defenses, a weak hyperwave ping is detected coming from the probe. It's unclear if this is a random noise from a dying subsystem or some kind of encrypted signal. Your fleet finishes its approach to the domain error probe without further incident. You receive a preliminary assessment of the potential salvage. We are far from what we want in crew, but we have more than enough machinery at least. So we'll begin the salvage. Well, we need the AI core. Warning, you're taking more salvage than your fleet has the capacity to carry. This will result in greatly decreased daily supply consumption and reduced travel speed. Well, I might leave the mortars then. The machinery, the supplies. Yeah, we're hurting here. I'm just going to take it all and fly back. Hopefully it's going to be all right. And we'll go ahead and emergency burn so we can get there as fast as possible. And we're back. Let's open the comms directory. Solid work. I'll get my technicians working on this right away. In the meantime, this should cover your expenses, hopefully with a good amount of left over. So we got rid of the gamma core, but we made some good money here. I'll send you the stabilization algorithm when the core works it up. Once you have it, it should be a simple matter of running it using your fleet's drive field as a means of interfacing with the jump point. However, there's still the matter of the miners guarding both jump points out of the system. And you said their forces are significant. Well, it's all relative. Our security detachment could handle them easily, but as I've mentioned, it is tied down defending Antsira. Your fleet, on the other hand, well, you might be able to handle them with some stellar piloting and a bit of luck, but it's not to take such chances. Especially not when there's an alternative. What's the alternative? There's a ship graveyard around Tetra. Ships that were deemed not worth the effort to restore, awaiting bulk transit to one of the ship-breaking facilities elsewhere. Now, though, they'll serve our needs. Go there and recover all the ships you can and break the ones you can't for supplies. Make sure to bring enough crew to operate the recovered ships. Perhaps an extra 100 or so will do. You'll need to transport them somehow, too. Here, take this Mudskipper transport. Consider it part of our reward. So we're going to get actually a civilian-class Mudskipper transport. That's just going to help massively. So we want to actually go ahead and buy things now. So we're going to go ahead and immediately open up the trade goods thing. So the economy is a living economy in this game. What we want and what we can buy are and how expensive they are all going to depend on where in the galaxy we are and the supply and demand and all that. We'll worry about that again in future. For now, this is just shift click to pick up items from a stack, shift click to hold and drag them. So we want crew. So what the cool thing about how markets work is there are two markets in every world. There's the main market, which is going to be crazy taxed. It's going to tax a lot. Or we could go to the black market. The black market is great for a lot of reasons. You'll get things that you wouldn't necessarily find in the open market, and you'll get a much better price. You won't have to pay that insane tax. But the more you buy from the black market, the more suspicious you become, and the more destabilization of the stable market you start doing. You can also start shuffling drugs in here, and if you start bringing a lot of drugs, you can start destabilizing society as they start doing drugs, and the production start going way down. You start seeing a lot less things to buy. There's a whole lot of stuff being simulated here, which is part of the reason I love the game. For now, I don't know if I want to buy my crew. Like, look at open market, 38 per unit, but it's you can, as we click, you can see right at the bottom left. We pay 30% tax on all of crew. So if I wanted to say take like that, we still, it's 30%. Everything we take is 30%. Whereas if we go here, there are no taxes. Zero. It's so much more tempting to buy crew from the black market. And Roughshot was a bounty hunter, a mercenary. The black market is not something he is going to shy away from by any stretch. And right now, money is tight. So the world is currently very stable, so we can afford, I think, to kind of do this a bit. Accessibility is 110%. A colony with high accessibility is able to import and export more goods and can claim a greater market share for any commodities it produces and exports. Fleets and its defenses. So you get a lot of info here. But since it's pretty stable right now, I don't know how high it goes. I think it must go to 10. There's no active comm relay in the system, which gives it -1. We're going to go to black market while we can, and I think we're going to buy 100 as he said. But we're going to not pay insane, stupid taxes to do it. So we're going to go ahead and buy those. I'm going to go ahead and buy... Are we suspicious at all still? We're minimally suspicious. I'm going to go ahead and buy supplies on the cheap as well. Say like another 30. How much money do I have now? All right, we got to stop with that. We're medium suspicion now. I'm done being suspicious. And we're going to go to the graveyard now. We've got 100 new crew. We're going to head out that way. Take care of things. So we're going to swing out. Oop. Supporting the Insira faction facility supporting the opposing side. You've been hailed by the hegemony fleet. Attention, your fleet matches the profile of a suspected smuggler posted by Insira authorities. You're hereby ordered to submit to a cargo scan. Sure, allow it. All right, well, suspicious cargo found. While the scan finds no overt contraband, the quantity of cargo found, combined with indirect evidence of your prior black market activities, is enough to raise suspicions. It is not, however, enough to do anything about. Correspondingly, Commander Nagasi Watts looks displeased. I'll see you again. You can be sure of it. She grinds out before cutting the comm link. So, a little bit of whispers on the planet that I've been dealing with maybe some ne'er-do-wells and paying people under the table to sign a contract with me without actually going through the proper authorities. And while they have no evidence of it, they're not happy about it. Hegemony's still fine with me, and she's a little bit mad, but it's only one person. I'm not going to worry too much. They're fine. They stop. They're going to leave us alone. We're going to leave them alone. We're just going to bounce. So, we've got a new ship. Let's pause real quick. I also have a skill point. I'm going to put it into combat for now, because I'm going to go for that combat one. Our fleet. So we got the ISS Etericus. This is all the info you can get about it if you ever want to know anything. It's fuel capacity, so on. It's got maneuvering jets. I don't really know if I really care about looking at the super details too much. We don't want to scuttle it or mothball it. We can also refit it. Refitting a ship in space will cause it to lose some combat readiness. Oh, if we want to refit it, we want to dock. I'm not going to worry about refitting it then. All right, let's just keep going out this way. Flying out for a few days. We've come through, and we're getting a lot of pings. And as you can see, there's a lot of ships over here. We're discovering them all. Derelict ship, derelict ship, derelict ship, derelict ship. There's a few different ships I definitely want. I don't know what's going to be around. But let's click on this first. Establish a colony. Absolutely not. All right, what do we got? Wolf-class frigate, which is what we've got right now. A laser class. Taurus class. Hammerhead. I really want the Hammerhead. I'm hoping we can grab it. The Hammerhead is a great ship. A derelict Hammerhead class destroyer drifting through space. It is showing signs of damage, though determining whether it's recoverable will not require closer examination. Salvage crews boarding the wreck discover that many essential systems are undamaged and the ship could be restored to basic functionality. If not recovered, the ship will be scuttled and any fitted weapons and fighter LPCs will be retrieved. Well, we're going to go ahead and consider ship recovery. So we get to take a look at it first. It's got a faulty power grid, which is going to give us some negative penalties. I don't know. What does a faulty power grid do? Hull mods, D. It might have to do with the flux. I mean, it makes sense. It would probably have to do with what the flux does. The faulty power grid, I don't know if we can fix, but for now, I'm fine taking it. This is one of my favorite ships because it's pretty all around just good. I'll go ahead and consider ship recovery and... So if I recover it... Hang on. It's going to take 46 supplies to recover this thing? 46 to repair recovered ships over time. 50 to crew recovered ships. 35 needed for ships in fleet. 51 supplies available. 46. All right, well, we'll go ahead and recover it. The Asgwidian is now part of your fleet. We're going to have to rename these ships for sure. Some of the ships in your fleet are at a dangerously low combat readiness, below 20%. Deploying these ships in combat is likely to cause critical malfunctions, dealing damage, disabling some weapons and engines for the duration of the battle, and causing further critical malfunctions during the deployment. It's recommended that you let these ships recover before you use them in combat. Ships regain combat readiness over time, and friendly stations offer a quick way to do so. You can also check combat readiness. So what we're actually going to do is mothball the ship right now. Basically, what mothballing it does, I'll show you right here, is mothballed ships can't be used in combat or repaired and do not provide any fuel, cargo, or personnel capacity. Mothballing a ship will reduce its combat readiness to 0. Restoring it will require time and supplies. Because it's so low, I don't want it eating through my supplies right now. We're just going to go ahead and mothball it for now. It'll be in our ship. It's basically minimally manned, and it's just going to follow us around. We're going to go through each ship and see if they're worth it. Taurus class derelict ship. Drifting through space. Assessment of potential salvage. So we can salvage it, I think. I don't think we can actually do anything else with it. We have plenty of crew to do it, though. So we got some bits and parts out of it. We're fine. We're good on everything else, too. We're carrying just enough. Explore. We only can salvage this thing, so we're just going to salvage it. Busted ships. That's fine. We're at least getting stuff out of it. Derelict Wolf class, which is already what we've got. All right, let's take a look at this thing. Let's take a look at more info. Glitched sensor array, unreliable subsystems, faulty power grid. Yeah, I don't think I want it. Let's go ahead and begin the salvage instead. What do we got? Ooh, a heavy blaster. Harpoon. We'll look at these weapons later. I just want to grab a point defense laser. We're running a little bit heavy here now. Explore. So this is a Condor class ship. Increased maintenance in glitched sensor array. God, man, it's rough. I'll take it, but I'm going to mothball it. Yep, I know. We're going to go ahead and mothball this thing right out the gate. We'll keep it for now. A kite class shuttle. Looks tiny. Might be good for a quick fighter. No, it's just useless. So we're eating more supplies because we're basically shoving cargo where people live, if you think about it that way. Buffalo Mark II class destroyer. Damn. Yeah, alright, that's fine. We're not far out, so I'm fine taking all of this. We're not getting much. Ooh, Dram. Lasting damage, compromised storage, degraded engines, erratic fuel injector. Jesus, it's so bad. Let's just recover it. And then, oh, it's fine, weirdly. Again, we're just going to mothball it for now. This is our fleet flying around. And a kite ship. This might be fine. Civilian grade hull, erratic fuel injector, degraded engines. I'm still think I'm going to take it. And that's all the ships. So we're going to go ahead and mothball this one as well. I'm going to lay in a course back to Ensira. Ideally, when we return, we'll be able to kind of repair our ships. And we'll be able to have more cargo capacity. Welcome back. A bunch of rust buckets, aren't they? Put some weapons on them, get a proper refit done, and with the dedicated crew, they'll do all right. It's no worse than what pirates have got at any rate. Yeah, speaking of weapons. Yeah, I was just about to talk to you about that. Not much to buy in the open market, but we have some stores. I've already ordered local storage space to be assigned to you and some suitable weapons transferred there, along with enough supplies to speedily bring the new ships back to full combat readiness. Use them to outfit your new ships. Make sure you've got enough crew for a full complement of every ship, and then break the rogue miner defenses at the inner jump point. Once discovered, press R to open the refit screen. After selecting a specific ship, you can hit V to autofit, which I think we will do for now because we're limited. In addition, you now have access to local storage at Ensira, and some weapon supplies have been placed there. To access it, click on Storage button in the trade screen. I take it you've got the stabilization algorithm then. Correct! These cores seem like they can work miracles sometimes. Let me transmit the results. There we go. All right, good luck to you. If you fail, well, we'll have to send a security force to do the job, and then it could get very messy. It's good to know you're already working on Plan B. Come now, it's not so grim. I have every expectation you'll succeed, or I wouldn't send you. And it's my responsibility as commander to plan every eventuality and not rely on miraculous saviors. Now, about those miners. The two fleets guarding the jump point will aid each other if you engage one with the other nearby, so it'll be easier fight if you manage to separate them first. If you can't, should be a fight you can win, though. Copy that, I'll be back when the job's done. Alright, so we need to refit our ships. Alright, so we've got a few ships here. If I hit autofit on, which I really want the Gwyndian going here, the Hammerhead. It's at V. And we're just going to go with balanced for now. And we can actually, you can see here, I would love to do some simple customization, but I'll be fair, I don't know it well enough yet. I understand how it works, obviously, but I'm just not good at it yet, and I haven't the depth of knowledge that I need to customize everything. So for the time being, I'm simply going to go ahead and go balanced. This has fighter bays? I don't know if I can put things in the fighter bays. Fighters, choose all fighter types other than the interceptors. We have nothing to put in the fighter bays, so I might just leave this one down for now. Let it be mothballed. What about this puppy, the little fast one? Let's make him an interceptor. He'll get a light dual machine gun, swarmer, and SRM launcher. Is that something I really want to do, though? We'll do it. We'll see how that ends up going. A light tanker. So, actually, you could actually take a look. Degraded engines. We actually take a look at all the problems. A faulty power grid. Flux capacity reduced by 20. Flux dissipation is also reduced. Sensor profiles increased by 50. Ugh, God. How the hell do I get rid of this? I might not be able to. And it's got blast doors right now. Ship takes 50% fewer crew casualties. Ah, wow. I don't know if it'd be worth it to keep it. Increased maintenance, which means monthly maintenance supply cost is 100. Increases minimum crew by 50%. Oh, God, that's awful, too. Strip it. And we're going to strip this for now, too. I think we're just going to leave them mothballed while keeping these all equipped as needed. Let's see. I want to auto-fit, point defense, overdriven, close support, assault. I think assault is what I want for now. So we're going to go ahead and confirm that. We'll see what that's like in a bit. This is my support ship. Frontier. Custom, which is I think what it's rolling with. Let's go ahead and give it that. So this is gonna, it gave us more flux venting, a little bit more weapons. We're just a little bit more combat ready now. So I don't want to mothball this. I don't want to mothball this one either. These two can stay mothballed for now. And we're actually good on everything else. So all we need now is to take care of the pirates. How's our supplies? We should be fine on supplies. We have 56. We're not going too far. So the gate is over here. There's going to be 2 fleets we need to deal with. So we're going to start flying out that way, and we're going to see how well we can deal with it. I'm mostly concerned about what we're going to get for fleets. So I'm going to actually turn off my transponder now. And we're going to speed up time because I want to sneak over. Are we that low on supplies? We're not that low. I don't see any. We're going to go dark. So I imagine we can... Okay, some of the ships in your fleet are low combi readiness. Is this not? We need to back up. Back up, back up, back up, back up. You can see where their sensors are. I thought. Let's get back. We were good. Oh god, they're coming out. They were coming after us. Thought we had repairs done. Let's go buy some supplies. I didn't realize we were that low on supplies. Out of supplies. Repair our ships at a dock area. Fleet undergoes full repairs and is restored maximum combat readiness at a cost of 69 supplies. So once again, we're super low on supplies. I actually kind of have to buy from the black market, I think. I hate it, but we're doing it. Minimal at this point. Let's leave. Why do I only have 4 supplies? Confirm. Medium. They're going to be mad about it. That's fine. We got to go. Looks like they're not going to pull us over this time. And we are fully repaired. Let's see if we can take care of this gate. Going dark. Okay. There we go. We've got one. Let's see if we can pull them away. I want them. Yep, I definitely want them to burn. We're going to go for the jump point real quick. Boom. And we're immediately going to stabilize the jump point before they can even fight us. You load the stabilization algorithm into your jump program, and the drive field goes through a series of esoteric fluctuations, the resonance gradually canceling out the instability in this jump point. The jump point should be stable enough to use within a day or so. Let's go. These guys don't even want to fight me for some reason, and it might be because I went in dark. Oh no, they're just now noticing me. Good for them. I might have to fight them on the way back, but for now I'm just going to swing back. And we'll go and speed on up. That was really easy. They just did not care that I went in. All right, let's see what he says. Well done. Station Commander Price seems to be a bit giddy with excitement. We actually did it. You just never know with these things. It's just a relief to not be cooped up in the system anymore. Here's your reward, well earned and with my gratitude. In addition, I've set you up with a monthly stipend from the Galatian Academy in recognition of services rendered. It should run for 3 full cycles. So we got 3 years of just stable money coming in to help by helping these guys come out, and now that's it. Now I expect the authorities at the headquarters on Jangala and the Corvus system would like to hear about the recent events. Would you deliver the report for me? Ask to speak with Commander Ano Nuevo when you get there. Oh, and make sure to take enough fuel to make the trip. Flying in system, as you have been, doesn't use fuel, so it's easy to forget that flying in hyperspace does. It's not too far, but with your current fleet, you'll need at least 50 units to get there. If you do manage to run out of fuel somehow and get stuck in the uninhabitable system, and that'd be a real feat if you on the Galatia Corvus route, let me tell you, you can always use a distress call and wait for help to arrive. So we get distress call in case we run out of fuel somewhere. I'm also declaring a bounty on the remaining rogue miner fleets here. If you like, you can stick around and help mop up there before you go to Corvus. Cool. Well, I think this is where we're going to end the first chapter of Roughshot's story. Setting up a hyperspace route to escape this place and having a little bit of money in his pocket and a small group of ships to call his own and his crew. Could be worse. I'm actually really excited to see what story we're going to tell now.